Hey everybody, David here, and this is another Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition character creation tutorial, and today's character creation tutorial is about the Druid. So we are going to be creating a Druid at level 1. We are also going to be doing subsequent videos after this to raise the Druid all the way up to level 20, and it's going to be a level by level process so you see what is involved in leveling a character so you don't miss anything, miss any proficiencies, any attack bonuses, any of your spell DC. So it's going to be a very long-term process over time, but this tutorial today will be just level 1, getting everything set up. So, D&D 5e has given the Druid a lot of versatility. Probably some of the most versatility of any class in actually Dungeons & Dragons 5e. You can be a shapeshifter, and shapeshifters can be probably one of the strongest classes of all. You can be more of a primarily healing class type of Druid with more spellcasting. You can also be a more traditional nature type of Druid where you can charm animals and have them fight with you. You can also be a more melee based type of Druid. And I've noticed not only in my games but a lot of the other games that I've participated in and also watched, a lot of the Druids are basically going shapeshift. Well, I want to break the mold. I want to go a more melee type of Druid with this character. And the great thing about another great thing about 5e is you can choose any race that you want. I mean, Druids aren't. You're not stuck playing just a halfling for a Druid, or a human as a Druid, or a half elf. You can choose anything. You could have, if you want, you can have a tiefling Druid or dragonborn Druid. So that's the great thing about 5e. You can mix any race and any class together. Another great thing about 5e are the archetypes. Every class in 5e gets an archetype. Basically what an archetype does is it gives more flavor to your class. And the Druid's archetype are called Druid Circles, and you'll get one at level 2. And for the Druid, there are 2 currently in the player's handbook. There are 2 Druid circles. There is the Circle of the Land, which Circle of the Land basically is a more spell-casting type of Druid influence. And then there is the Circle of the Moon, which works on shape-shifting. So we will go ahead and go we'll probably go land, but I haven't made up my mind fully yet. We'll worry about that in the next video. But like I said, this is just level 1. We don't have to worry about an archetype. So let's just go ahead and dive in. The first thing I always do when I'm choosing my class, I always choose my race. And I want to go with a wood elf because I love roleplay in Dungeons & Dragons. I'm not about min-maxing characters and trying to eke and squeak every little point out of something. So I want the roleplay feel of it. So for me, a wood elf would be a great race for a Druid for 5e. So let's go ahead and start filling in some things here up top. My character's name is going to be Farnak. I think that's a pretty druidic type of name. Maybe a little bit more halfling, but hey, what the heck? We're still going to play a wood elf. So let's go ahead and put in wood elf. Class and level. We are a level 1 Druid. Now for the alignment, we're going to go neutral. My name is David. And experience points, we don't have any yet. Background, we're also going to worry about in just a minute. So the next thing we want to do is we want to worry about our stats. So for stats, I like to go even for D&D 5e because there's a lot of saving throws that are based on, basically there are saving throws that literally rely on every single stat in 5e. So I decided to go ahead and go with a 15, 15, 15, 10, 10, 10. And when you do 15, 15, 15, and 10, 10, 10, you're not going to get any negative modifiers, which is a good thing. And you're also going to you're going to get 3 that's going to start with a +2, and then with racial bonuses you could possibly get up to a +3. So we're going to go ahead now for the Druid. I'm going to go with a 10 strength, and I'll tell you, well, even though we're going melee focused, I'll here with my spells, I'll tell you why I'm going 10 strength. We're going to go with a 15 dex, a 15 con, 10 intelligence, a 15 wisdom, and a 10 charisma. Now, for a Druid, your main stat is going to be wisdom. Wisdom is going to affect everything for the Druid. Wisdom is going to affect my 2-hit, my damage for melee. It's going to affect my spell DC for saving throws and for my spell attack. Wisdom is very important. Your constitution, obviously that's hit points, and dexterity. I'm going to be going a light armor, so the better my dexterity is, the higher my armor class is going to be, because I will literally be able to use my maximum dex. Now if I went with a medium armor, then I would only be able to do a +2 dex max, or heavy, I wouldn't be able to use any dex bonus at all. But as a Druid, and to fit with the theme of a Druid, you really cannot use anything that is metal. So we will go ahead and go 10, 10, 10, 15, 15, 15, and these bonuses are going to be 0, 0, 0, and then +2, +2, and +2. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at our race. Now, our race, like I said, we are going Wood Elf. Now down here I've already wrote in some of the things for the Wood Elf. Now you can see that I'm going to get a +2 dex and a +1 wisdom. So that is going to affect me both of stats. So let's go back up real quick. We'll raise our modifier to +3 because we're going to 17 dex, and then we're going to go to a 16 wisdom, which is also going to raise us up to a +3. So that is a good thing. So that's taken care of out of Wood Elf. Remember, you're going to get dark vision. So if you're in dim light, you're going to be able to see 60 foot as it was in daylight. Now if you're in a pure dark environment, you're going to see 60 feet as if it was dim light. And all of this for a Wood Elf and any type of elf, your dark vision is going to work in shades of gray, so it's not going to be full color. Now you can also see that the Wood Elf is going to get keen senses, which is proficiency in the perception skill. That is awesome. That means that I'm not going to have to spend my background, or, well, background's kind of set anyway for skill proficiencies, but I won't literally have to take this for my class. So let's go ahead and mark that down for perception, and that's what these little bubbles here are, is to see that you're proficient in those. And how that works, for if you're proficient in your saving throws, you're proficient in your skills, you're proficient in your to hit, and you're proficient in your spellcasting. All spellcasters, not just a Druid, but all spellcasters, and this works for every class in 5e. If you're proficient, you start with a +2 bonus proficiency at level 1 in D&D 5e, and this is a universal mechanic. Now, for instance, I got perception proficiency because I am an elf. Now, when you do a perception check, it is a 1d20 plus your wisdom modifier. So I would be 1d20 plus 3. But seeing that I'm proficient, I add my proficiency bonus. So that actually makes my perception +5. Now, as you level, as with every class in D&D 5e, your proficiency bonus will go up. And at level 5, you'll go to +3. And so on and so on and so on, till you get a maximum of +6. So don't forget, as you're leveling your character, don't forget to adjust everything that is affected by your proficiency. Saving throws, skills, to hit, and also your spellcasting modifiers. Your spellcasting DC and your attack. So don't forget that. And in all these videos, you're going to see that we'll take care of all of that. Now, you're also going to see that I get Fey Ancestry for the Wood Elf. So Fey Ancestry is really, really, really strong. This gives me advantage on saving throws versus charmed spells. Now, don't forget that. And then also, another perk to Fey Ancestry is any kind of magic cannot put you to sleep. So if say Snaggletooth, the Orc Shaman casts Sleep, you cannot be affected by it because of your Fey Ancestry. Really nice. You're also going to get Trance, meaning you do not need to sleep. You will not need an 8-hour rest like the humans, the half-orcs, and every other race in 5e. A long rest is just not needed. So you can go into a trance-like state for 4 hours and you will get back all of your spell slots, all of your hit points, your hit dice heals, all that good stuff. So trance is really nice. That will allow you, as an elf, to let your party get that full 8 hours rest. So they can get the same type of rest that you got in just 4 hours. Now, also, the Wood Elf is also going to get Elf Weapon Training, which is going to give me proficiency in longsword, short, and longbow. So let's go ahead and put this back up here on our proficiencies. So we are short and longsword. Alright, and we are also going to be proficient in short bow. I'm fat-fingering my keyboard, everybody. And long bow. Come on, Dave. Alright, so there you go. Want to make sure we get everything. Now, we're also going to have Fleet of Foot, which is really nice. They are the fastest of all the races. The Elf starts at a 30, but the Elf subrace gives an additional +5 for 35. So we've got our feet recorded there. That's 35 feet per round. And then you're also going to get Mask of the Wild, which is really good actually for a druid, because this gives you the possibility to attempt to hide when you're obscured by foliage or any kind of heavy rain, falling snow, mist, and other natural elements. So Mask of the Wild. Don't forget at all. Don't forget your dark vision. Don't forget Fey Ancestry. Don't forget Trance. And don't forget Mask of the Wild. Very important. Very important. Do not shortchange your gameplay. Alright, so now I've got that done. Let's go ahead, real quick, we can put our Passive Perception. What Passive Perception is a 10 plus your Perception skill. So our Passive Perception at level 1 is really high. That's going to be a 15. What Passive Perception does is your Dungeon Master is going to roll to see if you see traps, or if you see the eyeballs following you in the painting as you're walking down the hall, or if you see someone standing behind a tapestry. So Passive Perception is really important. And it's nice that the elves get that automatic proficiency in that skill. Alright, so the next thing I want to do, everybody, now that we have that out of the way, let's check out our background, because we did not choose our background. Now, for a background, there's a lot of different backgrounds for 5e. There's everything from Acolyte to Soldier to Noble, but for the Druid, I want to go with a Hermit. I think the Hermit would be a good choice for the Druid. And like I said, you don't have to do the Hermit. I'm doing the Hermit because I love the roleplay with my character. So that's why I'm doing Hermit. So when you choose the Hermit, you're going to have different ways of why you are a Hermit. And you can, it's called Life of Seclusion. And you can choose one, or if you want the randomness, you can do a D8. So we'll go ahead and we will... Oh, this is a good one. We'll choose number 3. We'll say that Farnak was exiled for a crime he didn't commit. So let's go ahead and put that down here in background. We'll put this with our personality traits. I was exiled for a crime that I did not commit. So that is why I'm a Hermit. Now, you're also going to get several things for picking the background, which is really cool. This is actually new to D&D 5e. Back in the public playtest, there were no backgrounds. At the very last moment, in the very last October 2013 open playtest, they started mentioning backgrounds. But now that the player's handbook is out, they did a great job on these backgrounds. So now you're going to get to choose 2 personality traits. You're going to get to choose an ideal, a bond, and a flaw. So I'm not going to choose those. I'm going to let you guys look in the player's handbook on page 134 for the hermit, or whatever other, in chapter, I believe it's chapter 6. That is the backgrounds. It's either maybe chapter 4. I don't know. Let me look at this real quick. I try to memorize as much as I can about this game, but you can't memorize everything. It's chapter 4 actually. Chapter 5 is equipment. Chapter 6 is multi-classing and other optional stuff. That's right. Alright. So don't forget, every background that you choose, you get to choose 2 traits, 1 ideal, 1 bond, 1 flaw. We won't do that. In fact, I'll go ahead and add those in later, and then the next video is down the line when we level up Farnak here to level 20. You'll see that I do have them chosen. But for time, we'll go ahead and just leave those blank. Like I said, you can roll those, or you can go ahead and just pick whatever you want. Sometimes your dungeon master will tell you to go ahead and roll, but normally you can just choose them. Okay, so we're done with that. Now your background is also going to give you some other bonuses. As a hermit, you're going to get not only the hermit, but any of the other backgrounds. You're going to get 2 more skill proficiencies. And for the hermit, you're going to get medicine and religion. So let's go ahead and check medicine, and let's check religion. Now, seeing that I have a wisdom of a +3, I'm going to add in my +2, and I'm going to have a +5 here. And seeing that I have a 0 modifier for religion, which is based off of intelligence, then my religion will just be a +2. So as you can see, our character sheet is starting to come to life now. And that's really nice, because before I even started choosing any proficiencies for my class, I've already got 3 free proficiencies from my race and my background. Really nice. Now, I'm also going to get a tool proficiency, and I'm going to get a herbalist kit. So let's go ahead and go back down here to our proficiencies, and we'll put a herbalist kit. Herbalism kit. Alright. So that is the herbalism kit, and you'll be able to make remedies and other things like that. And there's some optional stuff in the Dungeon Master's Guide that you'll be able to do as well. So as a hermit, you're going to get another language. So let's say that's Common and Elvish, and another good, I would say another great language for maybe a druidic type of theme will be, let's go with Halfling. You could go with anything that you really want, but like I said, I'm just trying to, keep with my theme here. And for equipment, I'm going to start with a scroll case, and which is I'll add this really quick about D&D 5e. Now, you're going to have 2 different options for equipment when you start. Now, the Druid is going to get a 2d4 times 10 for money, and if you choose that option, then you have to buy everything. But if you want to go ahead and choose the option where you automatically get your equipment for free, and what I mean by that is you'll get free equipment for your background and your class. So between your class and background, you're covered for all of your equipment, and you'll also get a little bit of starting coin as well. So in my opinion, the better and the safest route to go is to just take the free equipment from your class and your background. That's my personal opinion. So we're going to start as being a hermit. We will get a scroll case stuffed full of notes. So we'll write that down. Okay. We'll just put with notes. Alright, so the next thing we're going to get is a winter blanket and a set of common clothes. So we'll say we get a winter blanket, and we'll get common clothes. So you can see you get a little bit of each. Now, seeing that we got our tool proficiency with an herbalism kit, that means that we also get an herbalism kit too, which is really nice. The kits are actually pretty expensive to buy. So we'll get the herbalism kit, and we'll also start with 5 gold pieces. Not a lot to start with, but hey, that's better than fudging your roll and getting hardly any money, not even having enough to buy your equipment. So we're pretty much done here. And the only thing that still needs to be done is we can go ahead and choose we'll choose our traits and stuff now. Why not? We'll go ahead and do that. So the first one is I like to talk at length about no, actually let's not go with that. Let's go with I feel tremendous empathy for all who suffer. I feel tremendous empathy for all who suffer. Alright, so that's one personality trait. Another one is I am utterly serene even in the face of disaster. Alright, so that is our traits. Now you also get an ideal, and let's see, we'll go with let's go with greater good. And the greater good ideal is my gifts are meant to be shared with all. Alright, our bonds is, let's see, bonds are blah 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 blah. Yeah, this is a good one. We'll go with number 6. My isolation gave me great insight into a great evil that only I can destroy. And that kind of fits with being exiled for a crime that he didn't commit. So maybe Farnak, maybe something evil actually set him up, and that's why he was exiled. That's really good. So, yeah, let's go with that bond. Alright, and let's go with the last one, which is our flaw. Maybe let's go with I'd risk too much to uncover a lost bit of knowledge. I'd risk too much. Yeah, I like that one. I'd risk too much to uncover a bit of lost knowledge. Well, of knowledge. Alright, so now we're totally done with her background. Hermit, and I like that. Things are really starting to come together. So let's go ahead and start filling in some of our other stuff. Inspiration works like this. Inspiration is an award given to you by your dungeon master for good roleplay, or for whatever the dungeon master wants to give it to you for. If you want to use your inspiration, it works like this. You announce that you want to have advantage on a roll. An advantage in D&D 5e is you roll twice, take the best roll. You can use inspiration for attack rolls. You can use them for skill checks and saving throws, or maybe even your dungeon master will let you use them for anything. Maybe he'll even let you get another attack in if you miss twice. So just ask your dungeon master. Inspiration, is usually just advantage, but hey, D&D is all about having fun and being creative. So I'm sure you and your dungeon masters can work something out there. All right, so let's go ahead and go with initiative. Our initiative is going to be +3. It's figured off of your dexterity modifier. All right, now class features for the base class features for the Druid, you get a D8 for hit points. All right, D8. So your hit die is going to be 1d8, and you have a total of 1 of them. And you can do out of combat hit die heals. They're just called hit die heals. It's a new mechanic for 5e. Sort of works something like surges in 4th edition. But I do like the hit dies, and the more levels that you gain another one. So whenever you're level 5, you can do a 1d8 heal plus your con modifier, 5 times at level 5, 10 times at level 10, and you have to have a short rest, which in 5e is 1 hour. So to use your hit dice heals, short rest, and then use them till you're out. And then long rest will give you half of them back. It doesn't give you all of them back, but a long rest will give you half of them back. Alright, so let's go ahead and do our current hit points. Like I said, we do get a D8, and at level 1, like all classes in 5th edition, unless your dungeon master is so hardcore that you start with a D8 plus your constitution modifier. So we have 10 starting hit points at level 1. Not too shabby. Now, also, do not forget, you're going to get more proficiencies. So you're going to be proficient in light, medium, and shields. Light armor, medium armor, and shields. Now, your shield has to be wooden, because you, being a druid, you cannot have any kind of metal. Not for your shield, anyways. Now, for weapons, you're already proficient with longsword and short sword, so we are going to go ahead and add more, because now you're proficient with clubs, daggers, darts, javelins, maces, quarterstaffs, which is what we're going to be going with, this quarterstaff, scimitars, sickles, slings, spears. Very nice. So there you go. There's all our proficiencies. Alright. Armor we've already got. We are proficient with the herbalism kit, but we also got that for being a hermit, so we kind of lost out on that. But hey, that's the only thing that kind of double dips. We're in good shape. At least it's not a proficiency in like a skill or something. All right, so next we get saving throw proficiencies, and that's with intelligence and wisdom. Now, the saving throws proficiencies work the same way as skill checks. Intelligence, seeing that we do not have anything as a modifier or bonus, we will have a +2. And this is going to go up, because of the universal proficiency bonus. Wisdom, we will have +5 to all wisdom checks. Now let's go ahead and finish the rest of these, and we'll finish all of our modifiers for skill checks. Really quick, we don't have any bonus to strength. We have a +3 to dexterity saving throws, a +2 to con, and 0 to charisma. Now, we're going to get to choose a couple more skills for being a druid, and we are going to get to choose 2 skills from Arcana, Animal Handling, Insight, Medicine, Nature, Perception, Religion, and Survival. So, we get to choose 2 more. And for the theme, I think we are going to go with, let's go with Nature, and let's go with Animal Handling. We're going to go with those 2. So now let's go ahead and finish all of our modifiers here. Dexterity, all the dexterity is going to be 3. So we're going to find all these dexterities and just give them all +3. Wisdom, also going to be +3. Charisma, 0, intelligence 0, wisdom is +3, intelligence, charisma, no strength, no arcana, and then animal handling, seeing that we are proficient with that, we'll have a +5. And then nature, seeing that we have a 0 modifier for intelligence, we will have a +2 because of the proficient. We are proficient in that. Alright, character sheet's looking good. Now let's go ahead and next we will take the rest of our equipment. So we get to choose from a wooden shield or any simple weapon. So let's go ahead and take a wooden shield. Wooden shield will add +2 to armor class. Very nice bonus there. Then we get to choose either a scimitar or any simple melee weapon. So we are going to choose a quarterstaff. That is going to be the weapon of choice for this. Quarterstaff is a 1d6 for damage, and also you can use a quarterstaff. It is bludgeoning damage also. What you can do is you can use this as a versatile weapon, which means this in D&D 5e, just like a couple of the other editions. If you have something like a quarterstaff or a longsword, and if it has the versatile tag, usually the quarterstaff or like a longsword would be one-handed, but you can use those weapons as a two-hander, and then it would up it 1. So the quarterstaff one-handed is D6. Versatile, if you're using it as a two-hander, it would be a D8. The longsword, for instance, even though we're not using a longsword, although we are proficient in it because of our elf trait, a base longsword is 1d8, and if you're using it as a versatile weapon, as a two-handed weapon, then it would be a 1d10 damage. So it just basically takes up 1 die. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put this in here. We're going to use a quarterstaff. That is our weapon of choice. We're just going to call it the Q staff. So our attack bonus is going to go off, this is what it's going to go off. It's going to go off of a spell called Shillelagh. The Shillelagh. And what Shillelagh does is it is a cantrip for the Druid. We haven't got to our spells yet, but I'm going to put in my wisdom for this because I'm always going to have Shillelagh on me. Now Shillelagh lasts for 1 minute or 10 rounds, and each 6 seconds is 1 round or turn. So you will have this on. Make sure you always have Shillelagh up, so that gives you the ability to use your spellcasting modifier. For the Druid, it is wisdom. So we will have a +3, so we won't use our strength, we'll be using wisdom. Shillelagh, but you got to remember, keep Shillelagh up. That's the first thing you do. Bonus action, Shillelagh, and then do it. Alright, 3 for wisdom. We're proficient in quarterstaff, so we get to add +2. So we are +5 to hit with quarterstaff because of Shillelagh and our to hit bonus. Damage is going to be 1d6 +3. You do not add in your proficiency bonus on damage. You only add proficiency in for to hit. That's it. Alright, that's it for the quarterstaff. Now we're also going to get to choose leather armor. We're also going to get leather armor and an explorer's pack and a druidic focus. And you can be flavorful and talk about your focus and all that other good stuff. So we'll go ahead and we'll put our druidic focus down here. You could say it's a branch or maybe a plant or something, and we'll talk about the spellcasting focuses in just a second. So leather armor gives a base of 11 armor class, and seeing that leather is a light armor, you can use the maximum dex for your character. Like I said earlier, medium armors will only give you a +2 maximum dex, but we're going light, so we will have leather. Now we're going to go ahead and calculate our armor class right now. So we're going to start with a base of 11, and then our dexterity is going to take us up to a 14. Plus, don't forget, you have the shield, which gives you another +2. So in leather, with our dex bonus and our wooden shield, we will start with a 16 armor class. I'm pretty happy about that. I feel pretty safe as a level 1 character with a 16 armor class. There are not many creatures in the Monster Manual that are higher than 16 armor class. Believe me. The dragons, they're 18 plus and stuff, but yeah, it's really nice starting at a 16. Okay, so that's it with our gear. Now, also the Druid gets spellcasting starting at level 1, and they also get Druidic. So we will go ahead and over here in our class features, we will put Druidic. And what Druidic is basically it's the language of the Druids, and only Druids know it. They only know this language. But people can detect Druidic languages with a DC 15 Wisdom Perception check, but they cannot decipher what it means unless they use some kind of magic to figure it out. But for the most part, you're pretty much safe. So we'll come back over here and put Druidic in there as our 4th language at level 1. That's pretty good. We're in good shape for a level 1 character. We've got great to hit, great starting hit points, great armor class, a lot of skill check bonuses, really nice passive perception. We're looking good. So let's go ahead, and now we will go ahead and talk about our spells. And this is pretty much the last thing we're going to talk about, except for adding our Explorer's Pack down here. Now, the Explorer's Pack is going to have a lot more items in it, like a backpack. It's going to have 10 days of rations, torches, a water skin. We're not going to type all this stuff out. We're just going to put Explorer's Pack, but you know, you're going to know what's in that thing. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's worry about our last thing at level 1, and that is our spells. Now, like I said, the Druid's main stat is Wisdom. We're going to go to page 3 of this. This is where all of the spell information is. Now, we are a Druid spellcasting class. Your Wisdom is your primary stat, and it also does affect your spellcasting spell save DC and your spellcasting spell attack bonus. So, those are always going to adjust, whether you put points or ability score points into your, using the ability score improvement that you'll get later on, into your Wisdom, or just by leveling using the universal proficiency system, you'll automatically get higher spell save bonuses for DC and spell attack. So, excuse me, I had to get something to drink there for a second. Alright, your spell save DC is this. Say, for example, we're just going to use the spell Fireball as an example. If you get a fireball hurled at you, or lightning, you'll have to make a dexterity saving throw, and then if you're successful with your saving throw, you'll take half damage. Okay? You need to know what you need to roll against. Well, the creatures need to know what they need to roll against too. So this is where your spell save DC comes into play. Now, your spell save DC is a base score of 8. Plus you add in your proficiency, which is 2 at level 1, and your Wisdom modifier, which is 3. So we are going to start with a 13 spell save DC at level 1. That's really nice. Your spell attack bonus is just like attacking with your quarterstaff that we're going to be using our cantrip Shillelagh. You know, we're going to get, it's the same thing. Your proficiency plus your spellcasting modifier, which our spellcasting modifier is Wisdom. So our spellcasting attack bonus at level 1 is plus 5. And that's for any spell that requires a 2-hit roll. Alright, so that's one major mechanic explained out of the way. Next up, you're going to get cantrips. The Druid will start with a total of 2 cantrips known. And as you level up, once you get to level 4, you'll get another cantrip for 3. And then at level 10, you'll get 4 cantrips. And what cantrips are, cantrips do not take any spell slots to cast. They are always available to you. You can cast cantrips every single round if you want. So, for my 2 cantrips to fit the theme of my character, I want to take, most definitely I want to take Shillelagh. And I'm hoping I am spelling this right. Shillelagh. I think that's Shillelagh. But anyway, Shillelagh is your buff that's going to make not only your quarterstaff able to use your wisdom modifier, but it's going to make it a magical item. So if it's a creature that requires you to have a magical item to actually do damage to it, Shillelagh will fulfill that need for your weapon. It's really nice. So Shillelagh is going to be the bread and butter of you being a melee druid. Now we're also going to go with Thorn Whip as a cantrip. And what Thorn Whip does is it is a melee attack, but it is also ranged, and when you hit someone it'll do d6 damage, and Thorn Whip will also scale to your level. So whenever you get a higher level it'll go to 2d6 and then 3d6 and then so on and so on and so on. But the cool thing about Thorn Whip is you can pull someone 10 feet closer to you too. So you can just kind of, do a Mortal Kombat move and just pull someone towards you and say, get over here. Really nice. So those are our two cantrips. Now, spells. Let's talk about spells in a druid. The druid is a traditional type of caster, meaning this. You have to have a daily pool of memorized spells. Now, you pray to your deity to get these spells, okay? So, now you have your daily pool of spells. Your daily pool of spells is based off of your druid level, which we are 1, and your modifier for wisdom. So we will have a total of 4 spells that we know. We're not like a wizard. We don't have to have a spell book. We don't have to scribe spells. We just pray to our deity. There you go. Formula again for that is your druid level and your charisma modifier. So over time you'll get to learn more and more spells in your daily pool of spells memorized. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and take our 4 spells that we are going to know, and the first one is going to be we're going to take Cure Wounds because I want to be able to heal myself and my party. We are also going to take Healing Word. Now, Healing Word lets you cast this at a range, and it's a lesser heal, but you don't have to touch someone to heal them. Now, Cure Wounds, you actually have to be there and touch them to heal them. But Cure Wounds does a d8. Healing Word, you can cast that on someone from range and do a d4 plus your modifier. Now, our next spell that we're going to take is going to be Goodberry. And that's a pretty cool little spell. You get to basically summon 10 berries a day. When you eat one, it'll make you basically full for the day. It'll give you all the nutrients that your character needs, and it'll heal you for 1 hit point. And you can also give this to your party, and they last for 24 hours. And the last spell that we're going to take is a really cool spell at level 1, and this is Thunder Wave. And this is going to fit the theme that we have for our melee druid. And Thunder Wave is basically pointed on you, and it knocks creatures back if they fail a saving throw. Really cool spell. Now that we have our spell pool determined, now at level 2 we'll gain another spell. So we'll be able to memorize 5 spells. So we can choose another first level spell, and then whenever we hit level 3 we'll be able to cast level 2 spells, and then that means that we can choose a total of 6 spells between first and second level. So it's not like you get your wisdom modifier plus your level pool of spells per level. No, that's total between all of the spell levels that you can cast, just to make that to give you that. Now, the last thing that we're going to talk about are your spell slots. Now, you're going to get 2 spell slots at level 1. So you can cast 2 first level spells, which means you can cast 2 of these. So if you want to cast 2 Cure Light Wounds, that's fine. But you cannot cast anything else. If you're in a tough situation, you got 3 monsters around you, you want to use 1 spell slot, use Thunder Wave, that's fine. Then you need to get away and heal yourself, Cure Wounds, bam, there's your 2 spell slots. So you get 2 spell slots at first level, and you will get more as you level, and you'll get a ridiculous amount of spells, and you probably won't run out of magic. Alright, so that is the difference. Spell slots, easy, we've got that taken care of. Spell pool, remember, wisdom modifier plus your level, that's your spell pool between all spell levels. 2 more things we need to talk about casting. The first thing, rituals. Now, if you have any spells that a druid can cast or that you have as your daily memorized spell that has a tag in the spell description called ritual, then that means that you can cast that without spending one of your spell slots. What that means is you have to spend 10 minutes performing this ritual plus the casting time. So as long as the spell is it's labeled ritual, 10 minutes plus whatever other time that the spell has. Easy. Lastly is your spell casting focus. And like we said up here, we put this in our inventory. Our druidic focus can be anything. It can be a branch. It can be anything that symbolizes your spell casting focus. That does not give you any bonuses to cast. It does not give you any bonus to your save DC. No bonus to your spell attack. What that does is it fulfills any kind of material component, minor component needed to cast a spell, like bat guano, or maybe a witch's eyebrow, or a petrified goblin toenail, or a petrified goblin hand. Any material components like that, it will satisfy. Just like the spellcaster's component pouch in the equipment section in Chapter 5. Now, if a spell has a monetary gold piece value, say if you use Identify, I'm just using Identify as an example. If you have a spell that says you have to have a 100 gold piece gem, and it says a monetary value of 100 gold pieces, then you need to have that gem on you to cast a spell. The focus or the spellcasting component pouch will not fulfill it if it has a gold piece value. So I think we've touched on everything, everyone. I really hope this helped you out making a druid. We took about 45 minutes to do that, but hey, I wanted to go over every single thing and explain everything, and there you go. This is our druid right here. I'll go ahead and I'll add in probably a couple darts, and I'll also add in some more eyes, skin, and hair, and I'll do that often as we start the next video from level 2 to level 5. Then all that information will be filled in. So thank you so much everyone for watching. I totally appreciate it, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel and feel free to leave a comment down below. I do check them on a daily basis, and I do respond. Now, if you are looking to play a druid and you want to try one out in your game, visit my website at tabletopping.net. You can check out one of 840 character sheets that I have in D&D 5e. Just D&D 5e, I have over 840. I have every level, 1 to 20, for every class, every archetype. So you have every possible combination in 5e to choose from. They're on these nice 3-page PDF formats. So thank you guys again. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.